What is up, my fellow Cobra Kai, Eagle Fang, and Miyagi-Do friends? In this video, well, I say friends, but more like, frenemies. In this video, I wanted to cover a character who I feel like deserves her credit, and that is Ali. Now, the whole prospect of bringing Ali back to me, I was cautious, because I never really bought into the whole theory that she was going to come back and save Miguel. I thought that would be too convenient. I thought that would just be, it would be too convenient. And I was worried that if you're going to bring Ali back, you're going to undo all the progress that Johnny has made so far and Daniel has made, like, in their lives to move on from Ali and to, for example, Daniel with Amanda, Johnny with Carmen. I thought bringing Ali back into the mix might derail that in a sense. And you do kind of get those kind of vibes a little bit when Ali and Johnny reunite. However, what I will say is Ali is without a doubt the MVP of this season, right? And I'll do a video on Kumiko and why she is as well. I've covered Chosen a couple of times. But on the context of Ali, you would assume that she would come back and just derail everything and make the friction sort of worse between Daniel and Johnny. But in a way that I think subverted all our expectations. She was the reason that they got together. Like, get together in the sense that they were brought, like, the two separate worlds are now in unison. They're united. And by the end of the episode, the end of the finale, after Daniel comes in and saves Johnny, and then Daniel's about to land the final blow right on Kreese, Johnny gives him the nod of, like, yeah, do it. Go for it. You have my blessing. Do it. Knock him out. And then Johnny stands side by side. It's like, if, Kreese saying, oh, if we lose, I go. And Johnny's like, and then he's like, if you lose. And Johnny says, straight away, we won't lose. And then Daniel looks at him like, and that is because of Ali and the great character arc that she had within a few episodes. And it's just a testament to this season where characters have returned, but they've made such an impact on the story, and they've served the plot. Kumiko was essential to Daniel finding his balance, essential to feeling better about himself, and really ingraining the Miyagi teachings within him. Chosen was integral into teaching Daniel the way to beat Kreese. If an enemy insists on war, then you take away their ability to wage it. And not only that, seeing how Chosen has evolved, seeing how Kumiko has lived her life for the past 30 years. And I was actually surprised because I thought they would have stayed in regular contact, but quite clearly not. And then Ali comes back into the mix, and you're thinking, oh, Eric Golf and stuff. Oh, we've got the love triangle thing going off. But then you're like, you know what? They're just reliving their past. They're celebrating the good times. And it's all culminated in what Ali says at the end of the finale, where she's like, it's good to revisit the past, to remember where you've been. But you can't live in the past. Always live for the present and live for the future. And it's that great character arc that they just gave Ali that just puts her head and shoulders above where most people, I think, would have ranked her in the Karate Kid, character tier list. And what an arc. What an arc she had within a few episodes. Just being the bridge that Johnny and Daniel needed. They needed Ali to be the... it makes sense when you think about it, that Ali would be the one to bring them together, because their whole rivalry was founded upon the fact of Ali being in the middle and them being at odds. And it's so carefully and beautifully done that you sort of root for Johnny and Ali in a bit of a way, just because it's kind of funny to see Daniel all irritated. I don't know if that was just me. But the way Ali just lays out the truth... just literally lays out the truth. You only think there's one side to the story. Your side and your side. And then Johnny's like, oh, there's two. And she's like, no, there's three. Your side, and then there is the truth. And she basically just lays it on him. She just puts it on him and says, look, you just see yourself in each other. And you don't like the fact that you see yourself in each other. And that's the thing. Daniel and Johnny are very much alike, but very different. Like, they're two sides of the same coin. Like, Johnny's the heads, and then Daniel's like the tails. Like, it's or the other way around. Like, they're the same coin. They're just on the different end of the spectrum. And I think Ali pointing that out to them was so great. And the closure that she gets with both of them is so heartwarming. It's so brilliant. I love it. The moment that she gets with Daniel first, really sort of tying the bow and the ribbon on the Daniel and Ali romance from the original movie, and saying farewell to it and saying, you know, we had a great time, we're always going to remember the good times. And I think Daniel needed that. Daniel needed something like that as well, because as much as the series has focused on Ali being Johnny's first love and main love, she was also Daniel's. And her giving those words of comfort to Daniel and them leaving on good terms and sort of realizing that both of them should really celebrate the better memories and, you know, look back at the memories of, you know, the car incident with the UCLA football player friend, and just hearing that in a different perspective, and Daniel sort of going, oh, that's not how it happened. And it's like, yeah, you jump to conclusions, and it's just such a very, very unique way of doing it. I loved it. And the closure that Daniel and Ali got was fantastic, which now leads me into my next point. Johnny and Ali. I think Johnny needed this. Like, I know I said Daniel needed it, but Daniel has his car business, he has Amanda, he still cares about Ali, but I think Johnny has been so caught up in the past, he needed this as an okay to move on. It's okay, you can move on now. And I think Ali pretty much saying, look, you know, who is this super hot lady that I hear you've been dating? Or you've been seeing or whatever. And then Johnny's like, yeah, Carmen's amazing. And Ali's saying, look, go for it. Go ahead. What are you waiting for? Don't be stupid. Don't waste this chance. Live for the future. And then Johnny and Ali both getting closure as like sort of Facebook acquaintances to friends. And Ali saying that she's always going to be in his corner. She's always going to be his friend. Or she's always, or not friend, but she'll always be there for him. And Johnny will be there, vice versa. Was such a great way to tie off that relationship between Johnny and Ali. And I know I would love her to return. And I'm sure Chosen and Kumiko are definitely returning in future seasons. And I'm sure Ali will return. But let's say, for example, Season 4, 5 and 6 come along and we don't see Ali again. Let's just say, for example, this was a great round-off for Ali's character. I'm just going to say it as it is. Calling it what it is. This was a great round-off for Ali's character. What an ending. What an ending. And again, I have no doubt that she'll be back in future. But just to say, if she never came back, this was such a great detailed character arc within two episodes. And I've said it about this show. And the creators, you guys, if you ever watch this, you're fucking amazing. How you take a character and you put just little small scenes and you just develop them with so much rich, organic story and beautifully done character choices and storytelling. It's amazing. For every single character, I don't know how they do it. It's absolutely brilliant. And, you know, they did this with Chosen, they did this with Kumiko, they did this with Ali. And it's great. And the characters aren't just brought back so you can go, oh, look, it's Ali. They're brought back because there is a point they serve. They serve the plot. They serve the narrative. There is something about them that serves the current story at hand. And Ali being the bridge that brings Johnny and Daniel together, I absolutely adore. I think it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Because if you take away... The whole rivalry is based upon the... It all started with them and Ali, okay? It started with those three. You put Ali in the middle of that and say, hey, why are you two always at odds? Because you see yourself in each other, and being the bridge is exactly what these characters needed. And I think it all culminates, as I said, in the end of the finale, when Johnny just gives Daniel the simple nod to finish Kreese. He just gives him a nod, like, do it. They're on the same page now. Like, Season 1 finale, Johnny and Daniel were close to being friends, like, you know, Rocky and Apollo, where they were like, oh, let's go and have a fight, you know, like Rocky and Apollo did in Creed. Or not Creed. In Rocky 3. And then Robbie's in the dojo, and then it leads to a whole, you know, ruckus. And then in Season 2, Daniel and Johnny start bonding again, and then the school fight happens. Season 3, Ali comes into the mix, but this time they actually cement that bond, they become friends, and then at the end of the show, or the end of the series, sorry, we get the best scene I think I've been waiting for my entire life. It's just seeing them two together, the same dojo, the same place, and simply just being senseis. It's badass. And thank you, Ali. It's Ali. Ali is the MVP of this season by a country mile. But I do have a video on Kumiko explaining why she is also the MVP, because we do need to give some love to Kumiko. She came through. Every single character that returned came through, and then some. as I said, it wasn't just to say, hey, it's this character back. They served a real point and purpose. And I love what they did with Ali's character. And I'm sure Elizabeth Shue just had a blast coming back. And I think the writers may have just probably thought, you know what? Daniel and Ali went on a date at golf and stuff. So in season 1, Johnny says to Miguel, you and Sam, you know, go to golf and stuff for your date. You know, that's where I used to take all my babes back in the day. And in season 3, where did Johnny and Ali go? They go to golf and stuff. It's just sort of like a recurring theme. And, you know, I do feel like Ali will be back in future, but if this were to be her final appearance ever, then I think it would be a very satisfying end. I think this was a very unique arc for her over 2 episodes. But I feel like once they bring characters back, like legacy characters, that means they're coming back next season in some way, shape or form. They don't have to, but they do. It's a bit like Bobby. I thought Bobby was coming back as a one and done. And he comes back this season as a pastor. And then Johnny's like, I think it's a pastor, not a priest. And then Johnny comes in all drunk and he's like, this guy used to be a real badass back in the day. And he's like, forgive me, Father. And then just goes, Hooah! And then just sweeps Johnny right on the floor. And just seeing Bobby being the reason that Johnny could have seen Robbie and Juvie and all that was great. Like, that's what I feel like with this show. Every character that comes back in a big way, so like Chosen, Kumiko and Ali this season, can be like Bobby in the previous season where they eventually come back. I'd like to see Jimmy come back as well. That would be cool. But they all come back in a way that's serviceable. They all come back in a way that really serves the story and serves the narrative. And it's such a great way of doing it. You can call it fan service. You can call it what you want. But at the end of the day, I believe it. I buy it. It feels organic. And I just love Ali's arc across the 2 episodes. And can we just end the video with... I love the fact that Johnny's ordering, I'll have a vegan mung dao bowl. And she's like, yeah, how's the cheeseburger? And he's like, scratch that. Make it 2. And she's like, there's the Johnny I remember. You see that? Right there. Just being yourself. You know, Johnny's spending all this time going around taking photos and doing all this nonsense that makes him look ridiculous when that's not the person that Ali wanted to see. She wanted to see the Johnny Lawrence of old. And that right there, MVP. MVP. She brought Daniel and Johnny together. She was cool with Amanda. That interaction was also fun. And yeah, hopefully she comes back maybe one day. But for now, what a great way to round off her arc. And I bet Elizabeth Shue just had a real blast coming back and probably found it just a load of fun. So guys and girls, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of Ali's arc. And I really enjoyed the scene where Ali and Johnny were at the restaurant and they were just being honest. You know, Johnny was like, oh, life's been pretty great for me. And he was like, actually, that's bullshit. You know, life's been pretty rough. He was being honest. And I think she respected that about him. But then to hear her say, you know, Ali, the good doctor, Ali, the good wife, Ali, the good mum, she's kind of lived her life by the book. And just seeing that contrast, that no matter what how a person lives their life, you can't judge it based on the cover, because they might want something that the other person has or aspires to be, kind of thing. It's such an interesting parallel, that. I might talk more about that in a video. That one's video worthy. But anyway, I'll see you guys down in the comments section below. And, you know, remember, there's your side, and then there is the truth. And the truth is, you should... I was going to say you should subscribe to the channel. Anyways, you keep for your collection.